Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. I'm Yogsh and today I'll be talking about my experience of giving my first ever Jlpt exam, which was N4. So where should I start from? Okay, I'm gonna start from the starting. So in March, I filled out the form for N4. At that time, I was not quite confident enough that I could pass even N4, but I'm quite confident enough that I'll pass the N4 exam. But if I had filled out the form for N3, it would have been more challenging. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, in March I filled the form for N4 and then I had my exam on 6th of July. So I was studying every day consistently without missing a day. Yeah, of course I've missed 1 or 2 days. Also I took a little break also, but yeah, I was quite consistent. I was streaming every day and learning new words every day. So that's what I was doing for the whole thing. I did Anki and I was watching a lot of anime and a lot of YouTube, Japanese YouTube. So that's pretty much all I did for the preparation. Also in the last month I was reading a lot of manga as well. I did a 1 week challenge. Like for 7 days I was reading manga for 8 hours a day. Was it a 7 hours or 8 hours? I don't know. I think it was 8 hours a day. So on 6th of July I had my N4 exam. So I went to the center and it was in Delhi, DPS Arkipuram. That was the name of that school or center where I had my exam. I arrived at the center at 11 o'clock and it was very humid there. I couldn't, you could barely stand outside. It was that much hot and humid. You could barely breathe. It's quite funny, but there were a lot of teenagers, a lot of kids of my age. So they looked at a little different. I mean, India is quite diverse. So I thought they were in a group and I thought they were Japanese. But when I got out of the cab, I realized, oh, there is a part called we also have people in India that look like that also. So so I was mistaken, but you don't really see people with with different features. They live in a different part. They were all from northeast India, so they almost look like Japanese. So that's why I had mistaken them for Japanese. But yeah, everyone was staring at them. I also stared at them for quite a while, for a few minutes. So there was a thing. So I arrived at the center and for 1 hour I was there was a park. So I was in the park and I was stressing out about the exam. Like as the clock was ticking and the time was coming near to enter the center, like my heart was pounding faster and faster. Then the time came. The exact time for entry was 12:45, I guess. Yeah, they started taking us in at 12:15. Yeah, I went inside the school and they did a little frisking and little checking, and they told me it is quite funny. It took me almost 10 minutes to find my exam room. My exam room was on the E block, but there was only written the F block. It was quite confusing. The person, there was a lady who was checking the admin cards and she said, you go this way. So I saw that it was F block, but maybe it's F and E both. I don't know. So I went inside and then asked the other person. There was one other guy. So I want to go to room number 104, I guess. Yeah, it was 106 or 104 on the E block. He said on the first floor, take right. Then I took right and went up there. There was another guy who said the room is on that side. So I went that side and there was a room 106, but it was F block. not the E block. Like the people who worked there, they didn't even knew that it was the F block and not the E block. So there was one person sitting there. Like I was very confused. What? Nobody is there. There is only one person, and it's the F block. I'm looking for the E block. And then I checked my number, my exam number, and there wasn't any. That was not my class. That was not my room. So then I asked the guy, and he said it's the F block, not the E block. Then again I went, and I went up to the second floor. There was a girl was going on. She was climbing up the stairs, and I asked her which block was she going to. She said mine is on the third floor, and it's the F block. Then I asked her, where is the E block then? She said, I don't know. Ask some other like ask some teachers or something like that. So yeah, it was like I was very stressed out at that moment. But I drank some water and thank the last person who said the room was on this side. Then he was sitting like that, so he pointed me to the right side. That's left side, and there was a alleyway to the left side also. So this time I went to the left side, and I found the E block. Like it was hidden. They don't even know. There wasn't even a sign that that was the E block. So it was confusing. So then I went to the E block and again drank some water, used the bathroom, and then there was my room. I entered the room. By that time it was already 12:30. Yeah, for 15 minutes I was wandering around the floor, the school, just for looking for my room. Yeah, and there were only 5 people. They were sitting there on the table. No, there was no teacher. So mine was the last seat of the first row. That was my seat. So I sat there. It was hot. There were only fans, ceiling fans. No AC was there. So yeah, like after 10 minutes, the examinee, the invigilator came. One teacher came, and yeah, he was chill. Yeah, he was sitting there and he said nothing. There was a speaker in front of the class, and it was playing the sound again and again. It was talking about the do's and don'ts, what you can do, and what things are allowed and what not. So like I was over prepared. You can say like I was too cautious about not forgetting anything. So in my permission letter, it was written that I had to bring 2 pencil, one eraser, one sharpener, and my ID card, and my photo ID, my admit card. Yeah, so only those things. But I brought 2 paints also. That's the pen. So in the audio, they it was saying you cannot use pens. So okay, and then I put my pens back in my pocket, and yeah, and then one teacher, she was a girl. How do you say? A girl teacher. She came and she asked us if anyone has pens, so they can give them to me, because you cannot use pens for the exam. So yeah, I gave both of my these pens to the lady teacher. And yeah, so then we waited for 1 hour and the exam started. So we were given the the OMR sheet in which you circle the answers. So yeah, there were 3 pages, 1, 2 and 3 pages for the three sections: the reading, the grammar part, and the listening part. So they were all attached like this. They told us to fill out everything. So with my pen, I tried to I asked the teacher what's it gonna come here. I know it was my first time, so I didn't want it to make any mistakes. So I asked how should I write my name? Should I write my name in English or in Hindi or what? Not I didn't know. So he told me to write my name in English. There was a date. It was actually birth date, and I wrote down the date of the exam. So then the teacher again came to me and he said, "Oh, that's wrong. You have to write down your birth date instead of today's date. So then I looked, it was written that sending guppy date of birth, and then I realized, oh, then I erased it. I think that's why they told us to use the pencil instead of pen, because a lot of people are gonna make mistakes, and they don't even give you the second OMR. Like you cannot get any other OMR. They gave us the papers. For the first section, they gave out the papers, and they told us not to open the papers till the bell rings. And after 15 minutes, the bell rang, and I was like, just open it. And I was reading everything, and yeah, I was, like at that time, I have a thing where I check for things. I check things like 3 or 4 times, just to make sure. This is kind of severe for me. Like whenever I sit in my room, I close my door, and then like at least 4 or 5 times I again check the door, even though I know that I have closed, I have knocked the door, closed the door, okay, but it's still I check again and again. So that was the thing. So I was on the first paper, on the first page, there were 7 questions, so I did them all, and then again I checked them on my OMRs and my question paper. Then again, like 3 times I checked. Like I was wasting time. So 2 or 3 times I was rechecking my options. Like it was my first time, and I was stressing out. So that was quite obvious, and also it was obvious for me because I have I don't know, it's kind of a illness. I have OCD. So I check things frequently. Like I don't know, I wasted so much time that when the bell rang for the timeout, and I was on the last question at that time, so I knew that I had to be faster now. I didn't even knew that for how long they were going to take the test. I had already done drill tests. 4 drill tests. I only did 4 drill tests, and there was like 90 minutes of gap, but there was no breaks in those drills. So that's why I was confused for how long they are going to, for how long the test was going to go on. Then, I was quite wrong. It was not for only 90 minutes. It took almost 4 hours. 4 hours, I think 4.5 hours. So after the first section, we waited for around 20 minutes, and they again gave us the papers for the second section, which was grammar. I don't know how I did for the grammar, but I'm quite sure like it went alright. It was better than my first section. I think that they both were same. That's what I think. So yeah, again, as the bell rang, I opened the paper, and I was stuck at the first question. So I was not quite sure like what to choose. So I was so I was so confused with the first question. So for first 3 questions, I marked the third option. Like it was C for all the 3 questions, for first 3 questions, and I was like, oh my god, what am I doing? But then then I was going through the later the questions, and I was quite relieved because I was more sure that I'm getting them right. So yeah, that's how I did my grammar paper. And there were grammar section. I didn't really had any problem with the grammar section. Yeah, it was quite easy. Also, there were questions with the you have to make the sentence, the star questions. If you have given the test, then you know what I'm talking about. The star questions where you have to rearrange the sentence. Like there are 4 options, 4 blanks, and there is a star in one of the blanks, and you have to rearrange the sentence, and you have to choose you have to take the answer for the star blank. That was quite easy. Like after the paper, after I did every question, there were 28 questions for the second section, I guess. Yeah, so after I did the like all the questions, I went back to those questions who well, like the questions I thought that I was confused about them, or I was not really sure which was the right answer. So for 4 or 5 answers, I yeah, for 4 or 5 answers, your questions, I again like I erased the options that I chose, and I again switched. I don't know how to put it, but yeah, I took other answers. And the second time, I was sure, like I was more sure that yeah, this time it's the right answer. That's how the test was over. And like you, after every test, you have to tear down the first part of your OMR and give them. So I had already given the two, and then came the listening section. and bro, it was hard. It was hard for me, at least for me. I think I am losing my hearing ability. Choryok, I guess. So yeah, I'm losing it, bro. Like there were two girls. One, she was sitting right in front of me, and the second girl was on this side. Okay, last seat of the second row. So they both were talking to me, and like after every section, they both were talking to me, and like I couldn't hear them. Maybe they were talking too low, or I couldn't even hear the girl in front of me. So I really think the cause of using these, the 80% of the time, I like nothing is playing on them. So they are just for the noise cancellation. Yeah, I don't like when yeah, blah, blah, blah. I don't like the noise. Okay, so it's very concerning that like every time they said something, I was like, huh? I made them repeat whatever they said for 2 times. So yeah, those girls thought I was deaf. Oh my god. So before the exam starts, the listening section starts, they play the audio and they try to adjust the audio level and the echo and everything. So they played the audio for 20 minutes. Yeah, they were doing the setup thing. There was a girl was talking on the tape, yeah, on the speaker, and she was saying like oto kikoe nai hito te agete kudasai. So like as she said that, I immediately raised my hand, because if I had not raised my hand, my exam would have, the listening section would have gone first than it already did. So I raised my hand, and like there was kind of a silence for like it took at least almost 20 seconds for the teachers to notice that I was raising the hand. So that was kind of embarrassing, not embarrassing, but it was awkward silence. Like all the teachers didn't notice that I raised my hand, but the other students who they were looking at me, like they were staring at me, what is he doing? So yeah, so after that, the teacher in front, the girl teacher, the lady teacher, yeah, she noticed, and I said like I cannot hear the audio well, so please now move the speaker a little closer. But she didn't do that. She said wait, like for a moment, wait. She asked the other teachers like if she can move the speaker forward or not. There was a teacher outside, so he said like it's okay. So they were playing with the audio levels, they were making it up and low. There were a lot of empty seats. Yeah, a lot of students have filled the exam form and then come to give the exam. So there were empty seats. Then after like 5 minutes, the teacher, the second teacher, he was a man. I don't know what has happened to my English with man teacher, lady teacher, whatever. So the man teacher, he said sit like it was the third seat of the second row, so you can sit there with a, because I really couldn't hear anything, like it was all echo. So yeah, and they gave the papers. The bell rang, and the audio started playing on the speaker. Okay, this was the section. It was the worst section. Everybody's nightmare. I would say everybody is looking at their each other's features, like, huh? What is going on? Like, what should I choose? What's the right answer? It was like that. It's kind of a tip, if you're gonna give the exam for the first time. So, guys, there are ray questions. Example questions. Like, there is a set of questions, similar questions that you do, and before that, they play the audio and they do the example question first. So the lady on the speaker, she was reading out the first question, the example question, not the actual question, not the actual first question. So what happened is that I thought she was reading. I didn't know, this was my first time, so I didn't know she was reading the re question. I knew there was a example question, but I thought maybe she skipped it, or she wants us to read it by ourselves. So that's what I thought, and I went straight to the first question, and there was 4 pictures of pills. Pills. Yeah, I don't know. She read out the first example question, and I thought she said to choose the answer, and I immediately marked the third option for the first question, and and then she said, it's the example question. Oh my god, I made a mistake. And then I flipped the paper, and so that's what she was saying or reading. So that was the example question. I don't know if I'm able to explain it clearly or not, but yeah, I made a mistake, and then I was like, man, it's Hazukashi. It's very embarrassing that, and I don't know, maybe a lot of people saw me. I taked one question, so I immediately erased it, and then I was more cautious about listening the question first, and then to marking my answer. 24 hours, even when I sleep, I have them on. It's my noise cancellation thing. I couldn't hear while the audio was playing, I couldn't really, I don't know if I can listen to the audio or not, but I was pressing and I was doing that, and by doing this, by pressing these things, it was kind of doing the work of noise cancellation. So every time she spoke or she read the questions, I was pressing my ears like this and was trying to concentrate only on the questions instead of the surrounding noise. Okay, I was carefully listening to the questions, and I was choosing the answers for some questions. That was my reaction after hearing the questions, and I mean, everybody was like that, and I don't know, they give you the questions where they play the audio, and there is 2 people are talking to each other, and then the question is about what is the response is going to be. So they give you the 3 options. So sometimes the 3 options, the other 2 options are very weird, very quite funny. So on one of the questions, I laughed. I was like that, I smirked, and by doing that, I fucking got distracted. When you listen to the questions, do not laugh or do not think about anything. Just concentrate on the question first, okay? And I messed it up. I laughed, and I forgot what the question was. And because of that, I was I forgot to listen to the next question also. Oh my god. And when you don't know the question, when you don't you forgot to listen to the question, no matter if you listen to the answers or not, it doesn't matter, because you don't know the question. So, and I choose random options for Like it happened for back to back 3 questions that I forgot to listen to the questions. Oh my god, that was like, at that moment I was like, what the fuck is happening? Then I was like, fuck it, man, I'm gonna concentrate on the questions only. Like, yeah. So after that, the paper was okay, and yeah, it went all right. I've talked a lot. Listening section, it was the worst. Even for the first 2 sections, I could I could go back to the questions and again select the right options, like think on the questions and like change my answers. But on this section, you couldn't do that, cause you could not do that, because you do, like, I don't know if some people could remember the questions or not, but I was not one of them, so I couldn't remember anything, any question. So yeah, after the audio was like, after the exam was over, they immediately starts taking your OMR sheets. That listening section was the worst. Yeah, I've made a lot of mistakes, and I'm gonna, like, that is the section in which I'm gonna get the less numbers, marks. So yeah, that was my first ever JLPT experience, and I gave the JLPT for N4s, if I had not said it already. I hope you have. If you are going to give JLPT for the first time, you can take some notes and like, you know what you need to be aware of. You can learn from my mistakes. So yeah, that was my first ever JLPT, and I made a lot of mistakes and learned a lot from those mistakes. So next time in December, when I'll do I'm going for N2 in December, so I will not repeat those mistakes again. So yeah, that was the video. Thanks for watching the video, and I will meet you in my streams. Come and say hi to me on my streams, and I'm preparing for N2. So yeah, if anybody any fellow learner wanna get in touch with me, they can do that. So yeah, thanks for watching the video. I'll meet you tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow, today. I mean, in my streams, okay? And there's the tree. In my streams. Till then, bye-bye, have fun, and yeah, bye-bye. I'll meet you in my streams. Bye-bye. Bye.